Hello, welcome. I'm so glad that you're interested in this presentation. We are going to review going to college, what to know, where to start, and how you are supported. By way of introduction, my name is Mrs. Bencomo. I am one of the school counselors here at Lee, and I oversee the students with the last name SHI through Z. We have Miss Malaga at the beginning of the alphabet, A through CHE. She is overseeing Miss Pottishman's students while she's out. She'll be back in the spring semester. Mrs. Bonomo is CHI through G. Mrs. Gonzalez is H through LED. Mrs. Mehelchich is LEE through N. And Miss Rodriguez is O through SHE. We are all super excited to know your students better, support your students as they're applying for college or any post-secondary planning. If you have questions specific to your student, please reach out to their counselor directly. And all of that information will be found on the Lee website. So before you get started, before you compile those college lists or go to Target to buy all of those dorm necessities, go ahead and first have a conversation about finance. What is going to be the budget for college? How much are you willing to spend a year? How much are you willing to spend on college applications? But understand the finances first and stick to it. There is going to be a cost for applications, there's a cost for visits, there's a cost for testing, and of course, the cost of attendance. There are a lot of online resources that you can search to understand those better, but definitely talk to your students so that everyone's on the same page. The student needs to spend time investing in virtually knowing their schools at least. You can't just put a school on your college list without knowing a little bit more about it, because if that's the only school that you're admitted to, we don't encourage you accepting that admission without knowing more about the school. You want to make sure that it's a good fit. So sign up for those newsletters, take online tours, look at their social media, and make note of what you see and what you don't see. If there is something specific that you want in your college experience, make sure that you see it or that the school promotes it somehow. And that may look like, every student's different, but they may want study nooks in the library, or they may want redwoods around their college campus so that they can go for hikes. Every student has something specific that they're looking for. Use the resources that are going to be available already here at Lee and in our College and Career Center. But fundamentally, we want you to enjoy the experience. Things to consider when you are preparing for going away to college, staying home for college, or planning for college. What is the ultimate career goal? So, your college experience should be preparing you for what your ultimate goal is. There's going to be a lot of options at this school. Do they have access to internships? How do they better prepare you for your goal? Are you actually prepared to go to college? Not every student is going to be ready to go away to a four-year school right after high school. Some students develop a lot in that first year after high school. So we encourage a gap year or maybe taking a slower pace at a community college if you don't feel that you're fully prepared to go to college. And then again, understanding the overall cost. This is one of the hugest investments that individuals make personally, and you want to make sure you get that return on investment. So, understanding the cost is going to help you prepare for the institution you attend. So, for example, if you are planning to go into education, you may not want to spend 300 to 400,000 on your undergraduate education. So, those are things to think about. And you can also reach out to the counselor to better understand if you're making thoughtful choices. Some college admission facts, because we have a lot of students who are very nervous about college applications. It's important for us to understand, especially in California, that there are actually 4,000 colleges across the US. There's an overall acceptance rate of 66%. So everyone will find the right fit for their school. If you have made C's at least in every class and you're on track to graduate, there is a college for you. There's also something to consider, which are our local community colleges. Many of them are free for the first 2 years, and students have direct access to the UCs and CSUs. Employers, when they look at where you graduated from, that's all they care about is where you graduated from, not where you started. And a lot of our families opt to go to a community college first for the students' preparedness, and second, for the economic value of it. You save 2 years of tuition by going to a community college. Something else to consider is that there's a lot of stress around SAT or ACT testing. Not all schools consider those tests, especially the California public schools. So if that's something that you feel uncomfortable about taking, don't worry about it. There's plenty of schools that do not need those testings. However, it's the student's responsibility to know whether or not testing is necessary. And an example might be MIT. If MIT is your dream school, you will need to prepare for the SAT. Your college list, it really needs to be well-rounded, but not overbearing. 10 schools is the recommended list. You want to have about 2 to 3 schools in every section, except for that target section. So likely schools are the schools that you are pretty sure that you're going to get in. You exceed their requirements, and you know that they have a good acceptance rate. When you add schools to that likely list, always keep in mind, what if this is the only school that you attend? It's so frustrating when I talk to students and they tell me, oh, I was admitted to this school. And I say, great, are you going to go there? And they say no. So that can be a waste of money if you're not going to go there anyway. That's something to consider. The target schools are those schools that you're pretty sure you're going to be admitted, but it could go either way. You're not 100% sure. And then those dream schools, those are the schools that maybe you meet the requirements, but they have a low acceptance rate, or maybe you're just under the requirements, but you just love the program. And these are all things that is, this is very personal. So pay attention to what the requirements are. Look at the profiles of students who have been admitted in the past. All of this is public information on the college's websites, and this is how you can compile an effective list. This is information for you to know to better understand how each system works, because we have the University of California, we have the California State University, California Community Colleges Network, which is 116 schools. We have a lot of private and out-of-state colleges, and then there's also trade schools, because some students know exactly what they want to do, and having a full college education is not necessary. And in fact, it impedes them from earning the income that they're ready to start. So the University of California has the most requirements, which means they are expecting a higher GPA. B's are better in all of your classes. There is no SAT or ACT requirement, but they do have a response section, which is where the students respond to at least 4 prompts, and those are limited to 350 words, and students can focus on how to introduce themselves to the school. Because when these applications ask for written responses, they're asking to know the student better. And so the students really need to reveal more about them than what is found on the transcript. They have a hard deadline of December 1st this year, and there is a fee of $80 per site that you're applying to, per campus. The CSU application is similar, except for there is no written response, and their application fee is $70 per campus. They ask that students have at least a 2.5 GPA, although this varies by campus. Then the California community colleges, those applications are going to be in the spring. Everyone is admitted if they have a high school degree. And then for private out-of-state colleges, that's going to vary by the school, and the same for trade schools. That's going to vary by the school, and usually trade schools, there is a higher acceptance rate. So this is a really important aspect of the college application experience, is for the student to take responsibility. As a parent, this will probably be your biggest trust exercise, because you are really trusting them to take the reins. They're the ones going to college, so they need to be the ones that take all of the responsibility of everything that is needed for that to happen. They need to know the deadlines and the requirements for each school, including the time zone. Sometimes that happens where students apply to University of Texas and their deadline is midnight, but they apply at 11 our time, which means they missed the deadline in Texas. So know those time zones, know if they pay attention to that, and stay on top of it. I always recommend apply a few days early. You don't have to wait till the deadline. Some schools require those letters of recommendations. We have already sent out the request to students. If they need a letter of rec, there's some other forms they need to fill out so that we know our students better and write a effective letter. So make sure you write thank you notes to your teachers. They really like that. And this is we put a lot of heart into these letters, and we want to showcase our students in the best light. So make sure that everyone who writes a letter is also prepared. For the students, please plan enough time to write those responses on your essays or personal insight questions. You need to have them reviewed. You need to digest that information, make sure that you highlighted everything that you want to be highlighted about you. And that does take time to fully develop those narratives. You're also going to want the student to make accounts or portals for every school that they've applied to. This is how you stay on top of the information that the schools are sending to you. A lot of times schools will look at your indicated interest. Has the student indicated interest in this school? Are they answering the emails, or at least opening the emails that have been sent out? Are they taking advantage of those opportunities that we've sent? A lot of schools will offer essay help or workshops to understand the school better. Take advantage of that, especially if you're going to apply to highly selective schools. And then touch base with the counselor or the registrar to confirm that all the supporting document has been prepared and sent and received. So there's a lot of minutia in these college applications, but we really want to know that we're prepared on the Lee side, and we're counting on the students to also be prepared and follow up too. We want you to have fun, and when you know how you're supported, you will have more fun. This is an opportunity for students to learn more about themselves, and they typically walk away like a better version of themselves because they're more self-aware. So the Lee High School application timeline, we are in the middle of fall, so our students should be finalizing their college list and completing those letter of recommendation surveys that are found on Naviance. This is an embedded link for the requesting the counselor letter of recommendation. Also this fall, there are going to be workshops in the College and Career Center to better prepare you. And then you can also register to take the SAT here at school if you need it. In October, it is crunch time. It's also homecoming, so there's a lot going on. There will be some early action, early decision happening in October and November 1st. So continue to stay on top of everything, know those deadlines. Do not add a school at the last minute if it has an early deadline, especially if you need letters of rec. So try to finalize that list now so that everyone is prepared. And then the November, December, that's when the UCs and CSUs are due. So again, you have to set up portals. You want to be prepared, but you want to enjoy this and line everything up. My recommendation is to be done with college applications by the time you sit down for Thanksgiving dinner so that you can enjoy time with your family and celebrate a few days without any school. The last day to request a letter of recommendation from your counselor is going to be December 1st. And then going into the new year, that is when we start sending out mid-year reports, which will be those transcripts again for the fall semester so that colleges see what you have done this semester. And then you will want to monitor your applications, check your emails, all emails. And if you are considering a community college, that's when you're going to start receiving information about community colleges. The spring semester, please do not get senioritis. Colleges still look at your spring semester grades and they want to see that you're continuing that academic trajectory that you've been working so hard on. Do not give up. Graduation is going to be June 4th. So Naviance is a tool that we use here at Lee for students to provide information for us, like the college list, answering those surveys so that we can write the letters of recommendation. Students match the Common App with Naviance so that their teachers can send letters of recommendation. I recommend, if you don't already have a parent account, email your counselor so that we can set you up. You're not going to be able to do too much as a parent, but you're at least be able to see the college list, and it's a good talking point with your student. Please don't talk to your student more than once a week about college applications. It can be really stressful, and give them a moment to work on some things. And usually a week is about a good time to touch base on and follow up with students on that. We want students to familiarize themselves with all college application requirements with Naviance, with californiacolleges.edu. That is a platform that the students will use to launch their UC and CSU applications. This is a great tool because it populates all of your classes that you've taken. So you no longer have to type in every class on an application. This does it for you. You still need to edit to make sure that all the courses were correct, but this makes the applications really easy. And then later, when you complete your FAFSA or CADA, this populates the response for that too. It's a great resource, and we're asking all students to use that. We're going to host workshops with our seniors so that they're familiar with it too. Again, the December 1st deadline for the UC and CSU applications, and then the Common App applications, they vary, and some start in October and some continue on through April. Try to have your list and applications done well before then. So this comes up a lot. A lot of times people complete the letter of recommendation survey and they don't know, do I need a letter of rec letter? Make an appointment with your counselor to see if you need that letter. We know if you need a letter or not when your list is on Naviance, because we can look at Naviance and tell which students need the letter. So But you can also ask yourself some questions. What does my college list look like? Am I applying to just California public schools? Well, then no, I don't need a letter. Am I applying to a selective private school? Well, it most likely will need a letter, but not all of them do. Keep in mind that Lee limits the number of teacher letters to 2. And the reason we do that is because it's really overwhelming to our teachers. Students in the past have asked for more letters than necessary, which means that teachers are writing letters that are not used, and that's really frustrating to them. So we do limit it to 2. If you need more letters, that's something that you can talk to your counselor about, and we can figure out a solution for that. Steps to ask for a letter of rec. We have already sent out a form. Typically, there are steps to go through in Naviance. I will let you look at this, but the short response is always communicate. Communicate with the teachers, communicate with your counselor, and then we will tell you, okay, this is what you need to do. Something important to keep in mind is please do not let your procrastination be anyone else's emergency. If you waited till the last minute to ask for a letter of rec or you changed your mind about a school, you cannot expect a teacher or a counselor to write an effective, promising letter if you yourself have not been prepared. It's a courtesy to prepare those people who are going to advocate for you, and they need time to do that. The College and Career Center is an excellent resource for our students. Miss Betty is great with the students. She has so many programs available. She hosts workshops. A lot of colleges are coming through. So take advantage of those opportunities. Check in with Miss Betty. Look at the college list that's coming to visit Lee, and also attend the college fair that's going to be happening in a couple weeks. And here's information about the college fair. Thursday, September 25th, 6 to 8. There are going to be a lot of colleges here, and it's a great way to get more information about colleges if you're still working on your list, and maybe talk to some admission officers if you have questions about a specific school. And I highly recommend that if you have more niche colleges that maybe you don't know as much about, and that can't be found on the website. Here are some resources that can help you come up with that college list and some more resources as you navigate this college application experience. And that's it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you listening, and I look forward to we all look forward to supporting your student. Thank you.